welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Brittany and I'm on a mission to hit 5,000 subscribers. So make sure you click that button below, I would appreciate it. So in today's video, we actually have a really fun one. It's one that a client actually found on TikTok. They've asked me to recreate it using their old baby onesies. So I thought it was a super cute idea. She went ahead and provided me the onesies that she wanted to include within the sweater design, and I'm really excited to do it. So if you're interested in watching, then stay tuned. All right, so as you guys can see, she did go ahead and provide me this like cream looking sweater. This is the brand right there, in case you're curious. So we have this sweater, and then these are the actual onesies that she did end up picking out. So we're actually going to be spelling out mama. So it's M-A-M-A, and she basically wanted a different onesie for each letter, which I thought was super cute. I did go ahead and kind of put it in this order. I did verify to make sure she was okay. Of course, I didn't want like these two colors next to each other. Now this one in particular is more of a fuzzy fabric, where this is more of like the standard, probably like cotton, right? So I did want to go ahead and make the first letter at least fuzzy. I thought it would be super cute. And then we did go ahead and choose the brown thread, which will be our outline. So here we are right now. Now, of course, we will have to cut everything up, but let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I did go ahead and set up my thread as well as widen my bracket hoop, because I will be using my 8x13 mighty hoop. This is one that I recommend if you guys are going to be working on sweaters, because it definitely will give you that length that you are looking for. So I will be using this one, hooping it in just a second. But also what you will need as well is this heat and bond. So what this heat and bond is actually going to do is it is going to be put on the back of like these onesies for you. And so what happens is when it does eventually finish embroidering, you can actually heat press this on and it'll sit more flat to the actual t-shirt or sweater versus having like maybe, you know, a gap or air bubbles or anything like that. However you guys want to call it, but that's just the way I'm explaining it. So yeah, so you do pick this up at Michael's, super cheap, super affordable, not a lot that you end up using. And of course, there is a difference between like a paper side and kind of like a textured side. The textured side is the one that's gonna wanna physically go on the fabric. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, hoop my product and get my actual, I have to get my image up on my machine. That's the only thing I haven't done yet, other than get everything else set up. So let's do that now. I was looking for my laptop. So a couple things that I do want to touch on that I ended up doing. One was I actually ended up making the mama larger just because I felt like I made it the lengthwise but not widthwise. So I did end up going back onto the digitizing software, I guess I can say, I use to just make it longer and wider. So I did go ahead and make that correction. I did end up taping, I'm sure you guys saw a blue tape that basically is showing that is 3 inches from the neckline. So I want to make sure that it stayed up really high. Ignore this stain. I'm upset about it because this is my Alaskan shirt, but I don't care. Anyways, so the blue mark indicates 3 inches from the neckline. So I want to make sure that mama stays up pretty high on the chest. And again, I wanted to make sure that it was kind of large. So of course we are seeing a lot of that fabric rather than just what it says. So at this point I went ahead, I'm warming up my heat press as we are chit-chatting. And then now we just need to honestly snap away on cutting the physical onesies. And with this particular design that I did purchase, I will go ahead and link it below on where I bought it from Etsy, but it actually does like 1 letter at a time, which can be a little time consuming is what I'm thinking. So if you know how to change it within your software, feel free to do that, but it is going to do 1 letter at a time. Of course, you need to make sure that your machine is set up on auto manual. So after every design, it does automatically stop. So it's gonna do 3 rounds. It's gonna do the first stitch, then it's gonna allow you to do the fabric, lay down the fabric, whatever you guys wanna call this. And then the final step will be the physical outline, which again, we are doing in dark brown. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of rerunning it in my mind just to make sure everything is accurate and correct. I wanted to make sure that it was centered on the sweater. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't crooked in any fashion. So yeah, I've been taking my time with it. It's kind of been a while just to get to this particular point, but that's okay. Again, we are not rushing because at the end of the day, we want to make sure it comes out right the first time and we're not remaking that order. And especially since we are using these onesies and they are kind of on the small side, you know, again, we only have so much to work with. So let's go ahead and start chopping these up and start laying down that heat and bond transfer. All right, so as you guys seen, I went ahead, cut out all my fabrics. I did the heat and bond. As you guys can see, it is kind of shiny on the back. I am hoping that I made these big enough. This one I know for sure because I already went ahead and ran the first letter. But yeah, we'll definitely see. I mean, of course you don't want to make them too big because then that's more excess fabric that you're gonna have to cut around every single time. So I'm gonna go ahead, keep these lined up on my table so then at that point we could just, you know, grab and go. So as of right now, I'm gonna go ahead, just kind of put you guys in a fast forward. I wish I could do it this fast, and we're gonna get this project done. There was a little bit like, it almost did like a double line, so I'm not really sure why it did that, but I was just like, all right, no big deal, right? No, when it did its border, it decided to go haywire and mess everything up, which I am just like, so I'm gonna show you. Look at this. Look how horrible this ended up coming out. Like, what the heck did it do here? Like, what the heck? You can obviously tell it did its like first layer stitch, and then it looks like it's crisscrossed here. Here you can physically see where the first stitch actually went out. So that's why it was like when I was cutting it, like look, when I was cutting it, I wanted to make sure like I had my fabric here. No. So it decided to just, you know, create its own new path. Down here, it ended up messing it up. Go figure. A came out completely fine. Completely fine. Now, of course, I mentioned I wasn't going to waste my time cutting around it because at this point, the M is so messed up that I would not deliver this. But as you can tell, it would have been super cute. So now I'm extremely aggravated. I got to figure out where she got the sweater from. Order it. I'm going to have to let her know. This is what I get aggravated about because all I want to do, guys, is I just want to finish the order and move on to the next. But when I have crap like this that happens, it stops and delays me. So yeah, that's my frustration. I am going to clean up my mess. I'm going to woo-saw into the night, and we're gonna call it a wrap here. So really sorry, this was an absolute completely fail. Obviously something is going on with the machine because the A ran completely fine. I need to figure out what's going on with the M. I cannot have this happen on the next time I get that sweater in. So continue to stay tuned and I will give you all the positive and negative with embroidery. Yippee-ki-yay.